this is Polly from thefitmumformula.com, and today I'm going to talk about breakfast, because we've all heard that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. But is that true? Well, with most things, it always starts with your goal. So I'm going to assume if you're watching this and you're a follower of the Fit Mum Formula, that your goal is to lose weight and tone up. Now, luckily for you, the answer is quite simple, in that so long as you are in a calorie deficit and you are using up in a day or over the course of a week or a month more calories than you are eating, you are going to lose weight, regardless of when you eat those calories. So if you skip breakfast, or whether you eat breakfast, whether you have a huge lunch or a huge dinner or a huge breakfast, whether you snack and eat small meals throughout the day, and whether you prefer to have fewer big meals, it really doesn't matter at the end of the day, as long as your calorie balance is such that you are not eating more than you're burning, you're going to lose weight. So that's great news in terms of flexibility, because it really means you can fit this in with your lifestyle and your preferences. Now that leads me to the second thing, because where yes, you have to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight, the way that you have your meals, the way that you structure and time them, is going to help you to determine how easily you can stick to that calorie deficit, because some people feel hungry at different times in the day to the others, and also your lifestyle will determine things, whether you have time to eat at certain times of the day or whether you have time to stop and get food. So all of these things will come into what kind of eating pattern is best for you. Let's take, for example, somebody who really isn't that hungry in the morning. And we all know people who are just not really breakfast eaters, and they tend to be better off kind of mid-morning, more of a brunch kind of person. But then that same person might be an evening snacker. Some people just compulsively want to eat a lot in front of the TV in the evenings, and that sometimes is genuinely down to hunger. So if you're not hungry in the morning for breakfast, but you are hungry in the evening, well, why not just skip breakfast, save those calories, and that gives you more leeway to eat more when you are hungry in the evening. Because the thing is, when it comes to circadian rhythm and hunger levels, you can't always offset it. You might think, well, if I eat more earlier in the day, maybe I won't feel so hungry in the evening. And that might be true. Give it a go, give it a try and see how you feel. But also, if your body is naturally used to eating more in the evenings, maybe eating more during the day won't make you feel less hungry, and you're going to still want to eat that more in the evening. So really it comes down to what makes you feel best, what makes you feel the least hungry, keeps cravings at bay and gives you the most energy while still staying within that calorie deficit. Some people will find that if they skip breakfast completely, their energy and their concentration is really, really poor. And I know that's the case for me. I'm a breakfast eater. I love a big breakfast, but not everybody's like that, and not everybody's concentration and energy levels suffer either. Some people like to just have a coffee and then maybe eat nothing to lunch, and at the end of the day, if their calorie balance is right for their goals, they're going to achieve their goals. Maybe it's more of a practical thing. Maybe mornings for you, especially for us mums, are so hectic and there's such a rush and completely manic, and maybe you've managed to fit a workout in and you've got to pack the kids off to school and you get off to work. And if it's a choice between something maybe less healthy, having a bowl of cereal quickly shoveled down your throat, or getting something less healthy maybe later on, you end up getting a muffin or a flapjack and a latte later on, because you don't have time to make a better breakfast. How about if you feel you need breakfast, why not anticipate that? Why keep fighting fire? And do you know what? A proper breakfast for me, first thing in the morning, is just not practical. How about you actually plan to have it a little bit later on and go, actually, breakfast for me is once I get to work at my desk, or it's once I've dropped the kids off at school. Maybe you prepare it the night before, have it in a bowl ready, you could put it in some Tupperware. That means you can do it and prepare it when you got more energy, when you've got more time, and it's ready there for you, and you don't have to fight that morning rush and get your breakfast in. Some reasons that people skip breakfast are because they like to practice intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting is where you strategically skip meals. It's not just starving yourself just for the sake of it. It is strategically, and one way of doing it, for example, is to stick to an eating window. A popular one is an 8-hour window. So maybe you skip breakfast, have an early lunch about midday, maybe have a snack in the afternoon, have your final meal about 7 or 8 in the evening, and then essentially fast right the way around until the same time about midday the next day. And there's nothing magical about that. There are certain health benefits reported for intermittent fasting in some people. It's not for everybody, and the research seems to suggest that women don't do quite so well with intermittent fasting because our hormones like us to eat regularly. They don't like us to be without food for too long because we're supposed to be priming and prepping our bodies for having babies, right? So if our bodies think that there's not enough food around, they go into more of a stressed state, whereas men's bodies tend to do a bit better with intermittent fasting. But some women get on with it, and some women find that just restricting the amount of time that they're eating is a great way of restricting calories, because that having a firm rule, a firm guideline there, makes it easy to stick to. There's no discussion around it. There's no shall I, shan't I, because that's the rule. You start eating, then you finish eating, then, and it's a very easy one to stick to. And also, it also gives you less opportunity to eat. You know, if you've only got so many hours to eat in the day, it is very possible to overeat during those hours. Don't get me wrong, you can eat tons of calories, but it's less likely than if you've got the entire day to eat. And it also gives you opportunity to eat slightly larger meals, slightly larger portions during that time, which works well for people who have larger appetites. But at the end of the day, if you are eating fewer calories than you're burning, you're going to lose weight. So if you prefer to have an early breakfast and a late supper and a meal in the day and snacks, that's absolutely fine too. As long as you're not eating more calories than you're burning, you won't be gaining weight. So there you go. Is breakfast the most important meal of the day? Not for everybody. For some people it is. The question is, what works for you? And if you're not sure, and probably you do know, because it probably is the pattern that you fall into naturally when you got the opportunity. But if you don't know, just give it a try. You know, try having breakfast as soon as you wake up. Try leaving it to maybe 2, 3, 4 hours later. See how you feel. Maybe change it up depending on whether you've done a workout. You know, maybe if it's a workout day, you might have do a workout and then have breakfast right after, or maybe you prefer to do a workout a little bit later on, so you need breakfast to give you that energy to do a workout. Maybe it changes according to your routine. If you like to lie in, if you get the opportunity on the weekend, maybe that's a day you skip breakfast, or you have just a lighter snack when you get up before you move on to lunch later. So is breakfast the most important meal of the day? No, certainly not. It's not a hard and fast rule. It's what works for you. And at the end of the day, if your goal is weight loss, it's all about making sure that you feel great and you feel your best while sticking to that calorie deficit. I hope that was helpful. Please share this video with anybody who you think it might be helpful for also. That's Polly from thefitmumformula.com.